This is my first ever USPSA competitive shooting event. It's actually my first ever competitive shooting event that I've ran, and I've owned firearms now for about 3 years here in the state of New Jersey. I've done some basic pistol events, live fire training, dry fire training, but never an actual competition before. So thankfully, I have a few friends that have done things like this. In this case, my friend Yiddy helped walk me through the actual process of signing up, creating an account, joining the waitlist, eventually picking my division and squad, so that we went ahead and ran this together. And I'll go into the details of the rules of USPSA so that if you wanted to run this yourself, you can. But essentially, it was a blast. Really had a lot of fun and also just learned a ton about USPSA. It was totally worth it. In terms of cost, it's $25, and that's for all 7 courses. I brought my own firearm, ammunition, as well as eyes and ears. So Yiddy also lent me one of his mag carriers. So I was able to run the event with absolutely no issues, and overall just had a ton of fun, learned a lot. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this footage, and if you do, don't forget to subscribe. We're gonna have some more awesome content in the near future, so hopefully you enjoy.
All right, remember, take your time, go slow, don't try to be you're not gonna win anything today, all right? So just relax.
Understood.
Right? Make ready. Nobody's getting paid. Yeah, exactly. I'd like to go back to work eventually, right? All right, so the start is just gonna be low, just relax. You don't have to nod, you don't have to do anything. When you stop moving, I'll go.
Okay.
Finish, unload, and show clear. So I want to see the slide inside. Okay, slide forward, hammer down, holster. You did it perfect. Range is clear, 32-24.
So as you guys just saw, that was my first ever run in USPSA, and if you couldn't tell, it sucked. It was actually horrible, and you'll see the score at the end of this narration, at the end of the rerunning of the clip, but I wanted to give a brief walkthrough for essentially what happened and how this occurred. So I went ahead and started the day with a nice healthy drink of Celsius energy. So I'm at about 180 milligrams of caffeine at this point. I am nervous out of my mind, but enough excuses. I go ahead, I run the drill. I actually do a decent job hitting the steel over here, but my hits on the cardboard sucked. I couldn't tell if there was just a ton of C's or blacks, and for whatever reason, I didn't insert that magazine all the way. So I go ahead, I shoot 3 rounds, it falls out, I put in another one, nothing in the chamber. I go ahead, tack load, and I shoot the remainder of this drill, missing the popper twice over there, and then moving on. So if you couldn't tell, first run of the day, nervous, jittery, a lot of misses, a lot of sucking, but that's usually how a first round should have gone, and I should have definitely paced myself, gone slower, but I was a little bit overconfident. So I got 28th overall out of the carry optics division over here on this first course, but let's jump into the second one.
Slide back, let me see. Looks good. Slide forward, hammer down. Holster. Good. Range is clear. 24-32, 24-32.
All right, so second run of the day went much better. I'm not sure if you could tell from the POV footage, but we actually placed much higher. So definitely I calmed down a little bit. I took my time on this one a bit more, and I was able to make those hits, which effectively boosted my ranking, not just on this course, but also throughout the day. So you'll see that get reflected a little bit later. So I go ahead, start off just hitting the targets in line over here on the left side, and then finishing off the magazine on these remaining 2 on the right side. Then I'm slowly moving up while shooting, taking my time definitely a lot more than I did on the first run, so I can actually get these hits, which I'm able to do. That reload could have been a little bit smoother. I couldn't find the slide release, but otherwise it was a pretty smooth round of shooting. And overall on this event, I managed to place 16th out of 30, which isn't bad. It's definitely an improvement from the last run, which I was fairly happy with. And from there, I was able to move confidently into the next round. So before I show you guys the next course of fire, I wanted to talk about just the general behind the scenes, not just the actual shooting, but between each course of fire, I'm reviewing my targets. I'm seeing where did I, get those hits? Where could I have done better? What did I mess up? And also just in general, I was one of the last shooters by most of these courses. That way, because I was a new shooter to the event, which just made sense for a safety perspective, but also that way I could see how everyone else ran the event and how they ran the courses, and that way I would be able to basically learn from them to see what would be the best course of fire. And here I'm pasting targets, which apparently when you're the one running it, you should just be looking over your score, actually citing it on the iPad to confirm the score that's been rated, but you're not supposed to be pasting targets. It's a, I guess, unspoken rule when you're the actual shooter of the event. For the next course, unfortunately, my GoPro was on camera mode, so we have a nice picture, but that's about it. Let's go ahead and show the third person footage. So because I don't have POV footage of this particular course, I'm going to give some commentary over the video. Overall, this was actually my best course of the day. So apparently 3rd time's the charm, and 3 is my favorite number, so that works. So I start off pretty swiftly over here, moving all the way left, hitting these targets, and then I have a pretty smooth transition over here, and I hit these 3 poppers. I specifically wait for that popper to fall before moving on because sometimes it didn't want to fall for people, so I wanted to confirm the hit and make sure that it actually fell down, not just was a ding. And then over here, I'm going to move up, do a nice reload, and hit the rest of the cardboard. Those far ones out are about 15 yards, and apparently I got some decent alpha and C-zone hits. So my score overall for this particular event was actually pretty good at a 13 out of 30, and I actually beat Yiddy at this one, so I don't know how, but my hits were good, and overall I got a 3.4 hit factor, and I'm pretty happy about this one. So now is an excellent time to explain USPSA's qualifying events. So every single drill that we have run up until now, every course throughout the day has been specifically made for this event, except for this one, which was for our squad, the 4th course of the day, which was a qualifier course. So specifically qualifiers are run throughout the country the exact same way. They are set up at the exact same yardage distance from target to target. And basically that's where you can stack up and see how you've done against the rest of the country, not just people that went to this particular event, which is super cool. I love that USPSA does this. So this one is called the Thrill of the Bill Drill, or 2404. Each qualifier has a number connected to it. In this case, you do a simple bill drill, which is 6 shots on target from the draw on the first target. The next one up is a 3-shot reload 3-shot, and then over here for the last one is also a 3-shot reload 3-shot. But over here, you're going to see I'm going to grab for my other mag pouch because I'm so used to it. In this case, I'm borrowing again Yiddy's mag pouch, which I put on the front, and I moved the magazine there, but I really shouldn't have. I really should have just kept it on the back left over there. It's a little bit of a learning curve. For scoring, that put me at an 18th out of 30 for the carry optics, and Yiddy was actually just above me at 17th out of 30, so not a bad run at all. And in terms of how I was throughout the day, actually looking specifically at this qualifier, I was 46th out of 85 out of everybody. So that means for all of the different divisions, including combined, PCCs, production, limited optics, etc. So in this case, of course, I'm running carry optics, which basically means a carry firearm with an optic on it. But there's a lot of different divisions, and you can see how you stack up compared to all of those, which is really, really nice. Now for this next drill, it's actually a little interesting. I've never done this where you start off with your firearm on the barrel that's over there. You don't start it off in your holster or in your hand. And that threw me off a little bit because I didn't put the magazine, which needs to be unloaded, next to it. I actually had it in my back pocket. So that really took me for a loop, and I definitely could have loaded up quicker and started the next run properly, but I didn't know that, and that's on me. So hopefully I now know this for the next event. As you can see, I'm kind of mapping out how I'm going to do the course, which you get to do right before actually doing each run, as well as right as everyone from your squad gets to this particular course and every course throughout the day.
Just like that. Yeah. Ready? Ready. Stand by. Good trigger. Clear.
So now you'll see a much better angle of that mess up, how I'm grabbing the mag out of my back pocket instead of just off the table or off my regular mag pouches, which really did cost me some time, and that's why I had to bleep out a word, which hopefully you won't hear over this footage. But either way, now I'm going to go ahead and shoot the course as I plan. My light actually turned on there for a second, which I just shut off, and then I continue running the drill. Now, as I'm running this second section, and I'm about to move on to the third, I realized that shot wasn't great. I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna hit one more time on this target. Then I move on, and now I only had 9 in the magazine, which cost me at the very end because I wasn't able to stay here and finish off that last target. I had to do one more reload and then finish it off. In terms of scoring, I got again an 18 out of 30, which isn't bad considering the mess ups that I had on this course of fire. Now, my goal for the entire day was really just not to get disqualified and to overall have fun and get somewhere in the middle of the pack. I wasn't expecting to win not even one of these courses or drills. There's literally people that shoot competition basically for a living. They dry fire for hours upon hours a day, and this is basically secondhand to them. And I'm just your average citizen who conceal carries and obviously wants to be proficient, wants to train, but I'm nowhere near this level, especially for a first time doing a competition like this. So over here, I'm gonna go ahead, confirm the score on the iPad, which you do at the end of each run, and we'll go ahead and run into the next drill where unfortunately I don't have GoPro footage, so I'm gonna give some commentary over it as we go. So starting on this first target, I actually missed those 2 first shots. They hit the black, so I had to go ahead and shoot that another 2 times, which kind of messed me up in terms of needing to do a reload all the way far back here, trying to hit those targets that are all the way in the back. And then I forget which way to run because in USPSA you can actually, in most of the courses, depends which one, run anywhere over the barriers. You just have to be in the barriers when actually shooting the course. So I go ahead, try to hit these targets, but I actually end up flopping and missing a couple of them over here, just trying to make good time, which really, really sucked for me. In terms of scoring, that's going to be a 25 out of 30, so my second to worst performance of the day, but I did learn from that moving on to the next course. Before I show my POV footage of this course, I want to highlight Yiddy's specifically because we actually had a little bit of a different way of going about things. So you'll see he's going to hit these targets and then move on to the right side. He's going to fall all the way to the back right and do his reload on the way, where I actually go a little bit to the right, do my shots closer up so I can guarantee those hits a little bit more finely before moving back here and hitting these targets. So just like in other competition shooting events, you get to do things your way, which is very cool.
Ready. Stand by.
So that was the last course of the day, and overall it went fairly smoothly. Didn't get any high scores or anything like that, but we did hit these targets, move on over here. Definitely could have been a little quicker with acquiring the popper before moving on over here. And I hit these targets pretty nicely, I have to say. Definitely could have done a little bit better in terms of footwork, but it was decent. And then over here, I should have realized that I was going to need to reload. I kind of stood around there for a split second. So overall, getting a 20 out of 30 on the last course of the day. So that was every single course throughout the day for my first ever USPSA competitive shooting event, and it really was a blast. It was a ton of fun, and I can't wait to do it again. Honestly, it's going to be a little while just because of scheduling and things going on right now in terms of holidays and personal life, but really for the money, for the value that you get, even if you're not a USPSA member or member of the home range, it's a ton of fun. You get to train. Nothing really gets your blood pumping, the adrenaline pumping as much as doing competition. In terms of for the entire day, I actually managed to get 19th out of 30 for Caryoptis division. Didn't get disqualified, so goals were achieved. There was a lot of pasting, but again, it was really a lot of fun. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and also comment any questions you have down below. Here's a quick compilation of pasting a ton of targets.